Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. I've got a great video for you as I break down the Super Bowl, but after I get done breaking down the Super Bowl, wait! Don't go anywhere! I got some excellent prop bet action and some tips on betting on the Super Bowl, so stay tuned to after I'm done breaking down the Super Bowl, and I'll give you some excellent opportunities to make some money. So here's the thing. Let's look at how these teams got there. I'm going to start off with the Rams. Now, the Rams started off 8-0. They lost to the Saints, and then they had a late season swoon, but they ended up being 13-3, and they were the second seed in the NFC. The Patriots, now they always start off slow. They start off 1-2, then they went 8-1. It's really ironic because both teams lost in weeks 14 and 15. In December, for some reason or another, both teams went on a 2-game losing skid late in the season. Very ironic that both teams lost the same time. Patriots, of course, were the 2 seed. Both teams were definitely one of the two best teams in the conference. There was no chance that the Cowboys were going to beat the Rams. There was no chance the Chargers were going to beat the Patriots. Both these teams were definitely going to be in the AFC and NFC conference title game. The only question was, could they get by what I thought better opponent on the road? Both teams did. Both teams did in overtime. Both teams had questionable calls go their way in order to advance. So let's break this down a little more. Now, the Rams in the playoffs, first game against the Cowboys, if you look at the box scores, say 22-30, maybe it was a close game. It wasn't. The Cowboys had zero chance of winning this game. One thing that was really, really impressive is that they held the Cowboys to 50, only 50 yards rushing while running for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Both C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley, both of them had over 100 yards rushing. Then against the Saints, they're down 13-0, and what happens is that they're down 13-0 at the end of the first quarter, but the Saints aren't able to run the ball. 21 carries, 48 yards total the whole game. So if somebody came up to me and said, hey, Dan, the Rams are going to play the Cowboys and the Saints and hold them to under 100 yards rushing combined, I'm like, where do I bet? Where do I bet? I need the money. I'm taking that bet any day of the week. There's no way the Saints are going to hold the Cowboys and the Saints combined under 100 yards rushing, but they did. And that's something that's really impressive, not so much against the Cowboys, but against the Saints. You're down 13-0. The Saints are at home, and they can't run the ball. Look, Saints fan, I'm going to tell you something. I'm with you. You got screwed. But bottom line, you had every opportunity to win that game, and the Rams defense prevented it. And that's fact. You couldn't run the ball against a really good rushing defense. Let's look at the Patriots now. How are they different? Well, they held the Chargers in 19 yards rushing. Then they go to Arrowhead and hold the Chiefs to 41 yards rushing. Sony Michel, 24 carries, 129 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Chargers. And then he goes to Arrowhead, 29 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. They run for 176 yards and 4 touchdowns total on the ground against Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady hasn't been sacked in the playoffs. They did sack Rivers twice and Mahomes 4 times. Goff was sacked once against the Saints, was not sacked against the Cowboys. They sacked Breeze twice and Prescott once. So, Dan, what's all this useless information tell you? Well, it should tell you one thing, that these two teams are very similar to each other. These teams, even though you can name a lot of differences, one's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast. McVay, I think he's 32 or 33. Belichick's been in coaching. I think he actually started in 1975. I didn't Google this, but I'm going off of memory. I think he started in 1975 as a special team assistant with the Baltimore Colts. I know he started coaching somewhere around there. Real young coach. As a matter of fact, the first Super Bowl he participated in was Super Bowl 25 against a heavily favored Bills. He came up with a really creative defense for the Giants. Anyway, I could talk for hours on that, but let's get back here. These two teams are very similar to each other. Both these teams want to do the exact same thing. Both these teams want to establish the run, and then both these teams want to run the ball. Now, against the Saints, Gurley only had 5 touches. So, I think they had something like 78 yards rushing. I'm not going to look it up. I should have had it looked up already. It doesn't matter. what matters is both these teams want to run the ball. Both these teams want to stop the run. Both these teams got statues for quarterbacks. And both these teams want to keep their quarterbacks upright. So you're going to see a lot of short passing, even though both teams will take shots downfield. Let's face it, you're really looking at the short to intermediate passing games is really what's paramount in both these offenses along with the run game. So here's how I see it breaking down. I think that the Patriots, what they're going to do is actually surprise you and start off the game. I expect to see them in a lot of 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets. I think Gronk's going to be split out because even though you have Talib and Peters, two really, really good corners, when Talib went down, the defense was really affected because Sam Shields, while at one point in time was a really good corner, he was out of football for a year. He's a nickel back. And I really think the Patriots, what they're going to do is line up Michelle in backfield by himself. I think it's going to be a little different when they did with Kansas City. Kansas City just popped them right in the mouth. I don't think they're going to do the same thing. I think they're actually going to spread the field out, a lot of RPO, a lot of quick, early, quick hitting strikes, a lot of speed, a lot of tempo, a lot of things that the Rams do. I think you're going to see that from the Patriots early on. Then I think you're going to see the Patriots establish the run. I think the Rams are going to do something very similar. But ultimately, both these teams are going to establish the run. The one team that runs for over 100 yards will win the game. Dan, which team's going to win? I like New England. Okay? This should be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won. The Rams have more talent, top to bottom. But ultimately, the reasons why I like New England is that these two teams are very similar. You have a real young coach versus a very experienced coach. And before you say, whoa, Doug Peterson didn't have a lot of experience. What happened with Doug Peterson? Oh, you know what? Hold on. I need a drink. Yeah, I know Doug Peterson's a young coach. I get that. So you think you're going to have a younger, inexperienced coach out-coach Belichick again? Back to back? Yeah, good luck with that. I don't see it. I don't see it happening twice. Here's the thing. Yeah, two teams are very similar. Who has better quarterback? I'm going with Brady. Both these teams are going to do very similar things. Which one's better coach? I'm going with Belichick. Ultimately, I'm going with more experience, better coach, better quarterback, and I'm not buying Gurley being 100%. I know I went on ESPN. I'm 100%. That's why he touched the ball 5 times in the NFC Championship game, but 2 weeks later, you're 100%? No, you're not. I don't see it, so those are my reasons. Now to the advanced class. Here's the money-making part for you. I'm going to help you make money, okay? Here's the thing. New England, I was told actually the Rams opened up as a 1-point favorite, then went to New England, won. Now it's at 2.5. It's staying at 2.5. I like the 2.5. I don't like the over-under at all. I would ignore it. Everybody thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game. I could actually see it be a low-scoring game. Both these teams want to establish the run. Both these teams have been playing pretty good defense. I know it's been high-scoring games, but I could see this being a low-scoring game. I could see this being in the 20s for both teams. I wouldn't also be surprised if I saw 45-42, but this could just as easily be 24-21. I would avoid the over-under. I do like New England, minus 2.5. If that number's 3, there's some people I really, really respect that are waiting for the Rams to hit 3, then they're going to push heavy on the Rams. Whatever you want, I understand. Now, as somebody who's a blackjack dealer, somebody who's worked at a casino, everybody who's ever worked at a casino knows prop bets are sucker bets, but I understand Super Bowl Sunday. You want to party, you want to throw some money away. I get it. Let me throw you out some bets that you could go ahead and put down that are at least entertaining. I don't recommend betting on the Super Bowl. That's just me. But I know there's somebody out there who's going to watch this like, I'm putting action down, so let me help you. All right, first of all, let's say you like New England like I do. Who's going to win MVP? It's going to be Brady. Come on. Yes, I know he had that one Super Bowl where his buddy, Deion Branch had I think it was 11 or 13 catches. I know that, but if the Patriots win, Brady's going to be MVP. Right now, you can get plus 125 for that. It's a low number, but let's face it. Is that maybe a better bet than 2.5? I mean, what if this game happens to be one of these crazy 42-40 games? That could easily happen. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. Maybe you're better off just saying, hey, New England's going to win, take the Patriots. Plus 125 is a lot better than negative 110. Okay? But who's been MVP of the playoffs? It's been Sony Michel. Brady's only thrown 2 touchdowns. Michel scored 5. Michel's had over 100 yards. Michel's going to need over 100 yards in order for the Patriots to win. And maybe he gets over 100 yards combined. When if Michel has 7 or 8 catches along with 20 carries for 80 yards, does he win MVP or does Brady win MVP? I think Michel needs to play like an MVP, even though I think it goes to Brady. But right now it's plus 1,800. And Michel needs to have a big game. So let's say you're going to put some action on the Patriots to win. Maybe throw some action on Michel, plus 1,800. Okay, give me a long shot. Give me something crazy. Hey, Brady's thrown 2 touchdowns in both playoff games, only 2. Both of them went to Philip Dorsett. For those of you who don't know, Philip Dorsett was a first-round pick in the Indianapolis Colts, flamed out, a lot like Deshaun Jackson. One thing I really liked is he went to the Combine, he ran a 4.33, blew everybody away. He went to Miami Pro Day, and he said, you know what, I'll run again, ran a 4.27. I love that. He had a great number, didn't even do anything. Hey, I'm a competitor. Wasn't really used. This is a couple years ago. Miami was really struggling, had some quarterback problems. I thought he was going to be a good pro. There were some goofy issues in Indianapolis. Didn't really use them right. When Josh Gordon decided to go smoke some marijuana, kick himself out of the league. That's the way I feel about it. Philip Dorsett, really underused. However, he's been the recipient of both Brady's touchdowns. The only time Brady wasn't MVP is Deion Branch. I could see the same type of thing with Dorsett possibly happening. I really think that Aqib Talib's going to be the number 1. I think he's going to play Gronk. I think he's going to play Edelman a large part of the game. Peters is also going to play on Edelman. I think Peters is going to play on Gronk a little bit as well. So it's going to be the number 3 receiver and who else besides a deep threat against an aging vet. I like that matchup. I think Dorsett is going to at least have one splash play. So let's say you need to just do something crazy. Why not Philip Dorsett plus 10,000, roll the dice, have some fun, and if it works out, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay, I'm going to flip to the Rams. Let's say you're a Rams fan. You're going to put some action down. I can say the same thing. Jared Goff plus 200. However, who's the best offensive player? Is it Gurley or is it Goff? So let's say you're a Rams fan. Gurley's plus 800. Gurley's probably the only player who, let's say New England wins a game. If Gurley has such a good game, could he be MVP? Maybe-ish. Do you really want to take the MVP away from Brady? I don't think it would happen, but it's a possibility. So let's say you think the Rams are going to win. Who's going to be the player who's going to win MVP? Is it going to be Goff or Gurley? I think it's a coin flip. I don't think he's 100%, but let's say he is 100%. Let's say you're a Rams fan. Let's say you believe in Gurley plus 800. That's a good number for the guy who probably has to be MVP for the Rams to win. However, who's the Rams' best player? That's Aaron Donald. All right? That's Aaron Donald. This is a no-brainer who's going to be disruptive. It may not show up in the numbers, but if it's a low-scoring game, Donald has 1 or 2 splash plays, it's plus 1,500. So here's the thing. If you think the Rams are going to win, forget the point spreads. I would put your money on a safe bet. I would put it on Goff, and then I'd roll the dice with Donald as MVP. Why not? If you're a Patriots fan or you think the Patriots are going to win like I do, I'm ignoring the 2.5. I'm just putting money on Brady to win MVP. I might even be able to get a better number than plus 125, and it may be for fun. I'm throwing some money at Michel winning MVP, who's really been MVP of the playoffs. So that's some prop bet action. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Prop bets are sucker bets. But I know there's a lot of people out there just want to have some fun with it. There's literally thousands of different bets out there. And because there's so many bets out there, there's going to be a lot of action placed. My suggestion is just enjoy the Super Bowl like I'm doing. I'll put my money in my pocket because I'm going to be putting some action down on the 2019 season. And I will be collecting, and I'll have those videos up soon for you. Now, if you haven't noticed already, there's this little red button right there. It's an awesome red button. And BAM! hit that button, become one of the greatest people on planet Earth, and until next time.